Namaste, yogis. Sesa here. So we're going to take the first few moments of class to just talk a little bit about what yin and yang is, as all my classes are going to be focusing on that. And I've had a few students ask if I'm just going to come out with any vinyasa style classes. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about what yin and yang is. And generally my classes are always yang yin, in the sense that the yang is centering and focusing on the muscles, building heat, strength, and flexibility within the muscles, whereas the yin is the counter or the balance to that. We're going to begin to focus on stressing our ligaments, tendons, connective tissues, fascia, to help build a moisture around those parts of the body, which over time adds a strength and flexibility. So I use the yang to really kind of pull you guys into the body, into the mind, to get a little bit more still within yourself, because yin, jumping straight into it generally is very difficult for people. Just to jump into a pigeon pose and sit there for 3 to 5 minutes tends to be quite challenging. So I like to use the yang in preparation for the yin. And that's the wonderful thing about yin and yang, is that they're both always present. And it really is just a matter of which one we're choosing to focus on at the given moment. So yes, there is tradition, but also we have the freedom to kind of play around with it. And so in my classes, we will always be doing yang first to help build heat and cultivate that strength and stress within the muscles, but also to help pull your awareness into your body by focusing on alignment, muscle engagements, and then with that heat and that center, the focus that we've created within ourselves, we can then work our way into the yin, which will then sit in poses for about 3 to 5 minutes at a given time. And with that, we are building the stress within the connective tissues in our joints, whether it's the hips, the length of our spine, right? Upper body, shoulder, elbows, knees, ankles, toes, whatever joints we choose to focus on within the yin portion of class, we focus on them for about 10 minutes at a time. So, on that note, are you ready, Jamal? Yeah? Great. All right. So if you need your props, remember blocks, bolsters, pillows, books, anything that you have at the house. You'll need it generally for the second half of the yin portion. But we're gonna get started. Let's just start off in child's pose. So sitting towards the back of your mat on the tops of the feet and the shins. Big toes touch, the knees can touch as well unless you prefer to open them a comfortable width. Hips on the heels, arms extend forward or down the sides of your body. But just taking the first few moments to really allow yourself to drop in, right? Tuning out, so we can begin to check in and tune in to whatever sensations may be arising within the body. The practice of asana is meant to really give us the time to get to know our bodies intimately, and our body communicates with us via sensation. So whether that is tightness, stretching sensations, even pain. Stay away from pain, please. But anything else you're kind of feeling, call your mind's attention there and just begin to breathe in and out the nose. And then together we're going to begin to deepen the breath by first just letting go of a nice long exhale. And then take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Send that breath to the hook of your tailbone. Feel your ribs expand out. And then open up the mouth and audibly let it go. Take another deep inhale through the nose, this time capping it off at the peak. Feel that come back or the retention bubble to the surface. And then open up the mouth. One more deep inhale through the nose to hold. This time keeping the lips sealed. Go ahead and just slowly exhale out the nose. And then just breathe in and out the nose as slowly and as deeply as you can. And then from there, with an inhale, we'll begin to extend the arms long to the front of the mat. As you exhale, downward dog, we'll lift the hips, tuck the toes, drive your heels towards the earth. So feel free to pedal out your feet, come up and down on the toes, get past any fidgeting, any movement that the body feels like it needs. And do take a quick look at the hands. Make sure they did land jetting straight out from the shoulders. Ideally, it's your index and middle fingers that point straight forward. But if you're sensitive in the wrists or tight in the shoulders, you can turn your hands a little further out. And then as you relax your head and neck, just look back at your feet. Let them rest hips distance apart. Heels spin back and just slightly out so they disappear behind the toes. And then even if you have to bend your knees a lot, I want you to think of lifting the hip creases straight up towards the ceiling as if I had a rope pulling those hips up towards the sky. Lengthening and releasing the lower back, but at the same time knitting those front ribs, sternum bones slightly in so you're not dumping into the upper back. Now your goal is to keep the length you've created within the spine. Just begin to play with pushing the tops of your thighs straight back to help anchor the heels down. Now keep the head and neck relaxed, but let's consciously think about the hands. Can you lift just your fingertips up off the mat? So you ground down to the whole circumference of your palm, and then as you spread your fingers wide, fan them into the mat, root each knuckle, ending with your fingertips. Now keep the hands as they are, but you're gonna protract the shoulder blades, hugging them to the outer rib cage, wrapping your triceps back as you lift the forearms forward. And then with an inhale, we will come forward, high plank or top of a push-up. Lowering the hips in line with the shoulders, drive the heels back, firm your thigh bones up towards the ceiling, but at the same time, keep those hips down level with the shoulder blades. Add the slightest tuck to the tailbone so you can fire up the lower belly, pull it to the spine. And then you want to push down so much into your hands that the natural reaction is your chest and your head actually lift up. As the space between your shoulders gets very broad, think of gluing the shoulders down the back as you lengthen the crown of your head forward. Don't forget to breathe. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, downward dog, lift your hips up and back. Inhale, come forward, high plank. And exhale, downward dog, lift your hips. Inhale, high plank. We'll take it a step further. If you need to drop the knees, remember, use them at any time. You're gonna lean your shoulders forward, jet them out over the fingertips, and then with an exhale, just go halfway down, hug your elbows back, look forward, and then inhale, push back up, high plank. Exhale, downward dog, lift your hips. Now inhale, come forward, high plank. As you lean forward, exhale, halfway down, hover, meditate on what back bend you're gonna take, and then with an inhale, cobra, maybe up dog, just stay gentle. And then exhale, roll over the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Now from downward dog, let's go ahead and inhale the right leg to the sky. Flexing to the heel, keep that right hip square to the ground, so try not to let it roll open towards the ceiling, but don't just let it sag towards the mat. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're gonna pull the knee into your chest, shoulders land at your wrists, look forward. And then inhale, lift that leg up and back. Exhale, pull the knee down and across to your left elbow, find a little twist. Inhale, kick it for the sky. And exhale to the right. Inhale, stretch it back. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, we stretch it high, and exhale to the left. And go on your own, finish off going to the right, and then you have that same sequence. You have 3 stops. Every inhale initiates the lift up to the sky, and every exhale pulls the knee in towards the body. Follow your breath. In and out the nose. And then with your next inhale, wherever you're at, we'll meet with the leg up towards the ceiling. With an exhale, pull the knee to the chest, look forward and step next to the right thumb. Go ahead and keep the back toes tucked, but drop the knee. And then slowly reach your arms straight up towards the ceiling, a low lunge crescent. So those back toes tucked, you just have to drive the heel back to help stabilize the pose, and that'll help your hips sink forward and down. Look at the front knee, make sure it does stack at the center of your ankle in every direction. Make sure you're not deeply creasing between your right hip bone and the top of your thigh. You want to tuck your tailbone down. Pull the lower belly and front ribs in. Now those arms are straight and strong, reaching up. Wrap your triceps forward. Hug the front ribs in and slightly down. Nice. Now you're going to drive your left heel back enough that that left knee just lifts a little bit up off the ground. Much less than you want it to, right? Maybe half an inch. Feel the legs kind of turn on. The muscles begin to build and heat. That inner Agni or fire begins to cultivate. Soften your breath. Soften the face. And then without shattering the kneecap, you're going to gently set it back down. Pull your hands to heart center. Lean your torso halfway forward and then twist. Left elbow to the outside of that right knee. So make sure the elbows line up so you can press into the palms. But rather than just trying to shove your thumbs down to your sternum bone, try to lengthen your left ribs forward far enough that you can actually twist your sternum bone up to your thumbs. Now, keeping the twist, you can look down at the mat just to help you balance. Drive the left heel back and let's lift that left thigh bone all the way up towards the ceiling. Giving that back leg some strength, stabilizing. Come back to your breath. Breathing in and out the nose. Now looking down to the mat, pull the belly in and with an inhale, crescent pose, rise all the way up, reaching to the sky. Pause, take a deep breath. Exhale, hands to the mat, step your right foot back. Chaturanga is your exit. Inhale, cobra or up dog, and exhale, downward dog. Inhale that left leg to the sky as you're ready, leading with the inner thigh. As you exhale, pull the knee to the chest. That's our first stop. You look forward, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, kick the leg up and back. Exhale, knee down and across to the right, finding the twist, getting into the obliques. Inhale, stretch it high. Exhale to the left, finding those lats. Inhale, stretch it back. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, exhale to the right. Inhale, press it back, and then exhale to the left, and you flow on your own breath per movement. Remember, so without me guiding you through it, just try to become mindful. You have those 3 stops. Knee to chest, to the right, to the left. You're following your breath. However fast or slow it may be, just breathe. And then with your next inhale, we'll kick the leg up. As you exhale, knee to chest, look forward so you can step forward next to the left thumb. Keeping the back toes tucked, we'll drop the knee, reach the arms up. So remember, as the hips sink forward and down, don't just dump into your left hip crease. You want to tuck that tailbone down so the front of your pelvis lifts. The right heel is driving back, the lower belly is pulling in. Front ribs knit in. When you feel your back ribs jump up off your kidneys, try to wrap those shoulder blades to the outer ribs. Protraction even here. Triceps hug forward. The fingertips are reaching for the ceiling. Now let those arms reaching out help you lift the back knee up. Drive your right heel back just enough that the knee lifts half an inch. Maybe enough that I could slide my finger between your knee and the mat. Just breathe as things intensify. Pull the lower belly in, soften your face. And then very gently, you'll set the back knee down. Pull the hands to heart center, lean your torso halfway forward, pull the belly in and twist. Right elbow to the outside of that knee. Elbows stacked so the palms press, the front knee stays stacked at the center of your ankle. Hugging that left hip back, pulling the lower belly in. Now try to maintain what you've worked on from the hips to the crown of the head, but drive the right heel back and lift that right thigh bone up towards the ceiling through the edge of your pants. Generally, it's more than you think you have to. Whether you look down to the mat for balance, up towards the ceiling, if you're feeling a balance is your choice. But breathe in and out your nose. Every inhale, try to create more length and space from the heel to the crown of the head, and every exhale, maybe revolve and twist a bit more. Now we'll look down to the mat. Pull the belly in, and with an inhale, crescent pose, rise to the sky. Take a moment to pause, work past that, take a deep inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat, step your foot back, lower slow, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, and exhale, downward dog. Now from downward dog, let's go ahead and bend the knees. Draw your hips way back as you look beyond your hands. Exhale, take a giant step, walk or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Now the same flat back, inhale, Tadasana. Circle your arms to the sky, maybe even watch your palms kiss. Exhale, pull the hands to heart center, Sammasita. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, Tadasana. Arms fall before they rise. Exhale, forward fold. Lead with the heart. Inhale, halfway up. As you exhale, plant those hands. Step, maybe jump back, Chaturanga. Inhale, lifts the spine. And exhale, lifts the hips. With an inhale, we'll bend the knees, look forward. Bottom of your exhale will bring you to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, reverse swan dive your arms to the sky. Exhale, pull the hands through heart center. Inhale, Tadasana, reach for the sun. Exhale, bow forward towards the earth. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Finish this one off on your own, and we will meet in downward facing dog. Now from downward dog, let's go ahead and inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or spring to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold in. So big toes touch, heels separate just a little bit. With an inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Bend the knees, drop the hips, reach up. So the toes can lift, but try to feel the weight push straight down into the middle of your feet. The knees pull back so you can at least see your toes. And even though you are working the knees together, I want you to resist them apart so your knees do stack at the center of your ankles. Thighs become heavy. Tailbone is heavier. It draws down. Lower belly pulls in. Front ribs knit in. And then you want to think a cobra up dog in the shoulders to help lift the arms. Look forward at least and eventually maybe up. And then with an inhale, press up to standing, grow tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, straight back into chair. Hips go low, arms reach high. Pause. Pull the lower belly in, take an inhale. As you exhale, you're gonna lower your chest halfway, reach your arms down and back. Palms face the earth like wings. Shift the weight over into your right foot. Pull the belly tight. And you're just gonna lift your left heel up towards your bottom, like a flamingo. Lengthen the spine forward, pull the belly tight. Now slowly begin to kick your left leg straight back behind you for a warrior three. Press the right thigh to work your standing leg towards straight. Flex the left heel. Pull the lower belly and try to keep those hips level. Arms can extend back as they are. If you want a little more, you can reach them forward. But if that puts the pressure into your lower back, do something else. Wherever you're at with the arms, bend your standing leg as deep as you can. And then very gently step your left foot way back, land on the toes, crescent pose. Ugh. So we've been here before. Remember, bend the back knee if you need to so you can neutralize the pelvis. And then you work your inner thighs away from each other. Inner right thigh draws forward and down. Inner left thigh works its way back and up. From the hips to those fingertips, you want to feel as if you're standing in Tadasana. Breathe in and out your nose. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, you're going to reach your right arm back, left arm forward, twisting your chest open over that front leg. Right arm back, left arm forward, expanding the arms apart. Drive through the outer edge of your left ankle so that left hip doesn't spin forward. Hug the right sit bone to the inner left thigh. Pull the arms apart. And then with an inhale, come back to center, reach your arms up and straighten that front leg, grow taller. And then exhale, bend the knee, twist the right arm back, left arm forward, coming straight back to where we were. Inhale, reach to center, grow tall, straighten the leg. Exhale, sink down, twist open. We have one more. Inhale, reach up, lift up. Exhale, sink low, twist open. Pause. Now you'll pull your hands to heart center, keeping the direction of your twist. Gently release that left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Just like we did in the beginning, the left heel has to anchor back, that left thigh bone lifts. Elbows stack, your palms press. Maybe this time around you fly your arms. You might take a half bind, a full bind, just taking this twist to wherever you can while breathing. In and out your nose. And then looking down, with an inhale, crescent pose, reach straight up, rise. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat. Pause, lift your right leg up behind you, three-legged dog. Flex that foot. Begin to walk your hands back to the back edge of your mat for vertical splits. Relax your head and neck, flex to the back heel. Again, the hips remain level or neutral, square to the ground. Lower belly pulls away from that left thigh. Breathe in and out your nose. Now I want you to bring your hands about 12 inches in front of your left foot, cupping the earth with the fingertips underneath the shoulders. Think flat back, halfway up. Pull the belly tight, flex to that back leg. Pull the belly away from the leg and then reach your arms back, warrior three, just coming into it a different way on the different leg. Flex that back foot. Pull the belly tight. And then without touching the right foot to the ground, you're going to inhale, lift your chest, reach your arms up to the sky, sweep your right leg through, one-legged Tadasana, bending the knee, flexing that right leg so it creates a nice 90-degree angle. Drop that right sit bone towards your inner right thigh. Take an inhale, just like we did in our lunge, reach your right arm back, left arm forward, twisting, unsupported. Stamp heavy into your left big toe. Breathe in and out your nose. And then inhale, come back to center, reach your arms up. Now I want you to come high to the tippy toes of your left foot as much as you can, and then step forward, crescent pose. Landing softly-ish, right? Bending into the back knee, take an inhale. As you exhale, warrior two. Drop your arms to a T, turn the back heel down. Line up the feet so your front heel traditionally lines up with the center of the back arch or back heel, if that gives you more space. Make sure the back toes do turn forward slightly at least 10 degrees. Front knee stacks at the center of your ankle. Push the knee out to the right so you hug that right hip in. Tuck your tailbone down, pull the belly tight, and expand the arms apart. Focusing over that front hand, we'll flip the right palm up. Inhale, reach it up, reverse warrior. Keep your back hand light and most definitely away from the knee. Sink that right leg forward and then think of lifting your right hip bone up off the top of your thigh bone. So you're reaching that right hip up to the fingertips to arch you back. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the mat. You can step back. Handstand if you want to, but just play with it. Take your vinyas. We'll meet you in downward dog, but no rush. So from downward dog, let's take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Hold this breath at the very top. And open up the mouth. One more just like that. Deep inhale through the nose to hold. Open up the mouth. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Bottom of your exhale, you'll work your way to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Again, feet are together with a slight separation of the heels. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. So work from the ground up just like we did the first time. Sink those hip creases down and back. Pull the belly away from the thighs. Soften into the face. And then inhale, press up to standing, grow as tall as you can. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, straight back into chair. Drop it low, reach up. Exhale, lower your chest halfway, reach your arms back, palms face the earth. So cobra, up dog in the shoulders. Shift the weight into your left foot. Flamingo asana, lift the right heel up towards your butt. Lengthen the spine forward, pull your belly tight, and then slowly begin to kick your right leg straight back as you work your standing leg towards straight by pushing your left thigh bone back. Hug that left hip in, wrap that right hip down. Lower belly stays tight. Your arms can stay as they are. They might reach forward. Breathe. And remember, if you reach your arms forward, you can't change your mind. You can always change your mind. Bend your standing leg a little deeper. Gently step the right foot back. Land on the toes. Reach up. So situate your stance. You might shorten it, might widen it. But work from the ground up. Check in with your breath. As you feel ready, we'll take an inhale. Exhale, reach your left arm back, right arm forward. Check in with that right hip. You want to drive through the outer edge of your ankle so the right hip bone is actually pulling back away from the inner left thigh. Your left sit bone hooks down towards your inner right thigh. Spine is tall, arms pull apart. And then inhale, reach your arms up, straighten into the front leg, find balance. Exhale, bend the knee, twist open. Inhale, reach up, grow tall, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the knee, twist your body open. We have one more. Inhale, rise, and exhale, twist. Pull your hands to heart center. Gently begin to drop that right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Right heel pushes back. That back leg's our stability. Right thigh lifts, elbow stack, palms press. You might open your arms, take a bind. Taking your practice where your breath allows it. You should be able to breathe as deeply now as you were in child's pose in the very beginning. Keep the back leg active. Looking down, we will inhale, push up, crescent pose, rise, pause, breathe. Take an inhale, reach up a little higher. As you exhale, hands to the mat, we lift the left leg up behind us, three-legged dog. Slowly begin to walk your hands back to meet that right foot. Vertical splits at the back of the mat. Flex through that back heel, level out the hips, relax the head and neck. Think of this as a forward fold just over one leg because it's exactly what you're doing. Pull the belly away from your right thigh, which is pushing back. And then slowly bring your hands about 12 inches in front of your right foot. Cup the earth to the fingertips. Think flat back. Pull the belly in. And engage your glutes. Imagine I just put a quarter between your butt cheeks. Lift that left heel up, and then slowly reach your arms back, palms face the earth. Cobra, up dog in those shoulders, belly tight. Breathe in and out your nose. And then with an inhale, lift your chest, sweep your arms forward and up. Bring the left leg through, bend the knee, flex the heel. That left knee shoots straight out from the hip, heels pressing down to the mat, even though it doesn't drop down. Now stabilizing by pushing heavy into your right big toe, take an inhale. Exhale, left arm reaches back, right arm comes forward. We'll take a twist. Make sure those hips don't go with you. Those hip bones point straight forward like headlights. Tailbone draws down, crown of the head is lifting up. Breathe. And then inhale, come to center, reach up. So find a little bit of yourself coming up to the tippy toes of your right foot. That's going to ease the step forward, joint-wise, crescent pose. Bending into the back knee once you land if you need to situate the pelvis, but pull the belly in, take an inhale. Exhale, warrior two, blossom open. Set up the feet, heel to heel or heel to arch, that is preference. Back toes turning slightly forward, that's for the protection of your body. Inner right thigh wraps back as your inner left thigh draws forward. But then imagine you are dragging your feet together to meet them at the middle of the mat. Tailbone descends down, the rest of your spine lifts up. Arms expand apart actively in every direction. Focus over your front hand. Flip that left palm up. Inhale, reach it up, reverse warrior. Back hand stays light. Left leg still works its way forward. And then you want to think of lifting the left hip bone away from the top of your thigh. It should feel like a little jump up towards those fingertips. Breathe. Take a nice deep inhale. Stretch a little more. And then exhale, windmill your hands to the mat, step back, play with your handstands if that's what you're feeling today. Take your vinyasa or don't. We will meet in downward dog. From downward dog, we'll take a lion's breath. So together, take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Hold this breath at the very top. And then stick out the tongue. The next one will be more like a horse's breath. You're going to patter your lips together. Deep inhale through the nose to hold. And then as you're ready, let's go ahead, drop to the knees. Bring your knees to touch. You're going to open your feet just wider than the hips. So when you look back, you should be able to see your hips on the outer frames of your heels on the outer frames of your hips. Take your hands to your calves and roll your calves out away from each other as you sit in between your heels. So if the sit bones don't touch the ground, you need a bolster, a block, a prop. Feel free to use whatever you need. You want your sit bones to be grounded, right? Resting your hands on your thighs, closing your eyes. We'll just take a few moments to adjust and work our way into some stillness. So breathe, just in and out the nose. Allowing the process of shifting from that movement, from that heat, to now kind of grounding down. Shifting our attention from the superficial muscles and beginning to notice maybe the tension within your knees, across the tops of your feet. Take a few more breaths. And then as you're ready, you'll go ahead and slowly crawl your hands forward, all fours, and then bring the feet behind the knees, tuck the toes, and you're just gonna windshield wash your knees side, or your heels side to side. That'll kind of help move the knees around. And then coming to center, go ahead and cross one ankle over the other, sit back behind your feet and bring your legs out in front of you. Find the sit bones. You need to grab the cushion, aka butt cheek, pull it back, do the same thing to both sides. Now you're gonna keep your left leg as it is, but bring your right leg back into that virasana shape, where the right heel comes to the outer glute, to the top of the foot and knee or down, and then open your right knee as far back to the back of the room as you can. So you're more in like a half split, half virasana. Now try and get both sit bones to ground down. So if that right sit bone is lifting, you might sit up on a prop just to level out the pelvis. Now cupping the earth just in front of your hips. Pull the belly and you're gonna round your spine out. Get as round as you possibly can. Imagine getting your forehead to touch your pubic bone. And once you can't round anymore, then you can walk your hands forward. And then notice if habit kicks in. No, just that way, yeah. If habit kicks in, if you're flexing your left foot, let that left leg soften it. The muscles go passive. Breathe. The forehead ideally touches down and rests on something. That way the muscles within the neck and the shoulders don't begin to tense and tighten, because their job, or part of their job, is to hold your head up. So you want the head to rest on something. Closing the eyes, and then just scanning the body, noticing if there's any resistance in the form of whether it's muscles tightening or tensing to prevent you from going where you're going. If that is happening, maybe back out just enough that those muscles can relax. And that will give you the ability to sit a little easier. Watch your breath. Try to count that breath out. So every inhale, try and get it to be anywhere between 7 to 15 seconds long. And then every exhale, be sure it's the same amount of time, if not even just a little longer. So breathing in and out the nose, using Ujjayi breathing if you'd like, if it's in your practice. Also remembering those audible exhales are a great form of release, so they're there for you at any time if you need them. If not, just sitting with yourself for the next few moments with your breath in your body. So we have this tendency to want to rush out of these poses. So try not to do that. On a count of 5 or 6, you're going to begin to just roll your spine up. Walking your hands back, try to let the head and neck be last to come. Once your shoulders over your hips, you're going to take that right hand to the bottom of your knee. Lean into your left hip so you can lift that right knee up. Use your arm to bring it forward. Gently slide it out in front of you. And then we'll switch sides. All right, so the left leg will come into that Virasana shape, top of the foot and shin ideally down, and you'll open your knees as far apart as they'll go. Both sit bones ground down. Hands come in front of the hips. And rather than trying to lead with the heart like we normally would to stretch the muscles, I want you to round your spine out. As much as you can, imagine you're trying to make a hula hoop with your spine, and then begin to walk your hands forward once you can't get any more round. And then stop at about 45% of what you would normally do. Soften that front leg. There's no need to firm the thigh or flex the foot. Pull the belly in as you let your head hang. And ideally, remember that forehead touches down on something. And if you're finding that it feels like your left leg is going to snap off in this Virasana shape, I promise it won't, as long as you don't force things, right? So you don't want to get to that point where your muscles actually begin to tense and tighten to protect the ligaments, because we will always pull muscle before we pull a ligament, tendon, or a joint. So do a little less. Allow the body to just sit. Get familiar with stillness. Allow yourself the opportunity to become familiar with the mind. And if the physical or mental kind of strain of sitting still ever becomes too much, remember your breath. That's your anchor. It's going to be what keeps you here and now, allowing you to stay put, working through the discomforts that the body may be feeling, that the mind is probably creating. And as we work our way further along within the yin portion, I like to add the component of silence. So you won't always have the distraction of my voice to focus on. Because really silence is the stillness of noise, right? They go hand in hand. So in those moments of silence, just trying to always come back to your breath and push through whatever it is that comes up. A few more deep breaths. And then without rushing it, keep the head heavy. On an exhale, pull the belly and just begin to roll your spine up, gently, vertebrae by vertebrae. Once you're up, the left hand will go to the left knee. You lean over into the right hip so you can bring that left leg up and forward. Take your time, be gentle. Slowly straighten the leg. And then let's set up for Supta Baddha Konasana. So you'll need a couple blocks, maybe a bolster, or a few pillows. Firmer the better for this one. The first block, you're gonna set up about 6 to 8 inches behind your shoulders. Generally small or medium. Very few people can actually do this on the highest level. And then the second block will go behind your head. Arms can fall down your sides, palms face up. The soles of the feet come together and the knees flop open. By no means do the heels have to be all the way up in the groin. They can slide a bit further forwards. So you're creating more of a diamond shape. But then allowing the body to soften. Melting over the blocks. Breathing into the space you're creating within the front body, right? The front of our chest is open, it's expanding, so we should be able to breathe deeper. But with those deeper breaths, I want you to begin to focus on the areas that are feeling a little bit more blocked or closed off. Using the strength of the mind to focus on that particular part of your body, whether it's within the thoracic spine as it's in this extension, or maybe it's the front of your hips and the inner groin as it begins to try to release, allowing the knees to hang. Wherever you feel the most tightness, focus your mind on that particular part of your body and just breathe. So listen carefully, because how we come off the blocks, I don't want you to have to come back up. Just reaching your right arm over your head, letting your bicep hang next to the ear. Take your left hand to the outside of your left thigh. You're gonna close your left leg on top of the right as you roll onto your right hand side. Your head should fall off the block onto your arm. Take your time. And take your left hand down and behind you to remove the first block. And then up and over your head to remove the second. Keep one of the blocks handy with you. You'll roll onto your back. Plant your feet in the floor. Lift your hips and you'll slide your block underneath the hips. So small, medium, or tall, the lumbar spine has much more of an ability to take on back bend. So if the highest level is something your body can do comfortably, be my guest. The top edge of your block should rest at the sacrum line where the lumbar spine connects into the pelvis. Hips sit heavy. Arms fall down, palms face up. If you want a cactus arm, or even grab opposite elbows over your head to add a little bit of stress for the shoulder joints, be my guest. So if this is enough, you can stay here. If you want to go a little bit further and add a layer, you're going to just slide your right leg straight out towards the front corner of the mat. And then maybe try doing the same thing with the left. But if you feel a sharp pinch or pain within the lower back, with both legs straight, bend the knee, do one leg at a time, and I can tell you when to switch. But allow the legs to soften. The feet, release. If you have one leg straight, you're going to very slowly switch sides. For everybody else, that means we're at that halfway mark. So just notice the mind as I said that. Is it now counting down moments in anticipation? Can you steady the mind by just coming back to your breath? Or give something else the mind to focus on, maybe a physical sensation that may be arising that wasn't there before. So without lifting the heel up off the mat, just one leg at a time, begin to rebend the knee, dragging the heel closer to the block. And once the feet are flat on the floor, you'll push into the feet to lift the hips, remove the block, place it off to the sides. Once your hips touch down, step your feet wide and just allow your knees to knock together up top. Take a few moments. Let the lower back broaden and settle. Keeping the legs as they are, you'll open your arms out to a T, palms face up. Let both legs fall over to your left. Just keeping the feet wide at the edges of the mat. It's not a very deep twist. If you want to bring your left ankle to the top of your right knee to help weigh it down, just be gentle and be very aware of the inner right knee. You don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on those ligaments. If it's comfortable, you might look over your right shoulder towards your fingertips. And then let's finish this side off by taking a nice deep inhale through the nose. Hold that breath at the top. Then open up the mouth. You'll gently release the left foot if it's on the knee. Look up towards the ceiling, bring the knees up towards the ceiling. And then looking to the left as the knees fall to the right. Maybe bringing that right ankle to the top of your left knee. Softening anything that's not needed. And let's take that nice deep inhale through the nose, holding the breath at the top. Open up the mouth. And gently release that right ankle if it's on the knee. Look up towards the ceiling, bring the knees up. Hug the knees into your chest. Try to grab opposite elbows over your shins. Bring your forehead to meet your knees. Take one last deep breath in. Hold this breath. Let this be the last active thing you do. Curl your toes, scrunch up your face. And then as you're ready, exhale, release. Sprawl open. Go ahead and feel this out. Set up Savasana, however you need it. Maybe blankets, bolsters underneath your knees, a pillow under your head, or in Tamal's case, a giant amethyst crystal. Take your time, and as you feel ready, allowing yourself to fully just land in the pose. No longer having to try, finding the ultimate sense of release. Feet flop open, thighs and hips heavy, fingertips can curl. Relax your jaw and allow the tongue to melt back towards the earth. Allow the eyelids to become heavy, unfurl the eyebrows. And as the body and the mind find that release, allow yourself to do the same. Step aside. Try to have as close to an out-of-body experience as you can get. Finding that place where you can look down on the body and the mind, being witness, watching, but being unattached. No longer participating. The mantra becomes one's staff of life, guiding one through every ordeal. Each repetition has a new meaning, each repetition carrying you near and near to God. A quote from Mahatma Gandhi. So today we're going to practice a little mantra meditation from here. So as you lie here with your eyes closed, I just want you to bring the tip of your left index and thumb to meet, and the tip of your right thumb and right index finger to meet, creating that mudra within both hands. And then we'll take 3 Govinda breaths. So with every inhale, I want you to center and focus your mind on the mantra Govinda. And then as you exhale, allow that mantra to roll out with your breath out the mouth. Don't worry about what you sound like, if you're in sequence, or even if you're pronouncing it right. That's not what matters, so don't be shy. We'll take our first inhales together. And as you're ready, you can begin to wiggle the toes, the fingers. Stretch your arms up and overhead, point to the toes. As you're ready, you can roll to the right or left-hand side. And with no rush at all, keeping the eyes closed, walk yourself up to a comfortable seat. Whatever that is for your body at this time is up to you. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, namaste.
Namaste.